Miss Brittany. So today will be a back in time watches video, and today I'll be telling you the very first time that I've watched Arachnophobia. So, okay, this is gonna be kind of hard, very scary to talk about. But so when I first seen Arachnophobia, I was quite young. I was probably, I don't know exactly, but I'm just guessing I could have been maybe around 7 or 8 at the time. And so I remember when I first watched this, of course it was on TV. I didn't exactly have it on VHS, which I'm glad I didn't. But it was on TV, it was on cable, um, and so I remember, watching this, and, ugh, gosh. So yeah, like I said, I remember when I first watching this, I remember, like I said, I was probably 7 or 8, and so watching this on the TV, and of course seeing that word, which is the title of the movie. So when I saw Arachnophobia, I didn't know how to pronounce it at the time, and I did not know what the word meant. Funny, I didn't know what the word meant at all. But as it turns out, I had that, which I still do, even though I didn't know what it meant then. But while watching it, I was scared. And because from where I used to live, I remember I saw like daddy long legs in a house, but I never saw like the real life big spiders in front of me. I think I saw pictures of those kinds of spiders in a book, like some type of I think National Geographic book that had a list of all different kinds of animals and insects. But from what I've known is that spiders aren't insects, they're arachnids, because arachnids have 8 legs. And just saying out loud, I'm getting very unnerved by that. I think anything with 8 legs is just unnatural. But then I think an octopus has 8. Well, that's different. It's not legs. Again. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm getting that very creepy feeling right now. I'm not gonna mention that. So, yeah, that's why. They, even though they probably looked like an insect, although they're not. So, that's why they call it that. Anyway, so yeah, I remember seeing how these spiders were much bigger than a daddy long leg. I was, I freaked out, and I just remember just feeling so scared, and I was like backing away from the TV, and I was just like, wait a minute, is that a spider? And so yeah, I just remember thinking, oh gosh, this is scary. Like, they're scary looking. They look, ugh. So just by looking at them, I knew that I had a fear of spiders, which I still do. I feel like I need an umbrella to protect my head, because I feel like something's gonna jump on it. So anyway, trying to get through this. And so I think what scared me about the movie though is that, when these guys were out there, but I think they were spraying some kind of poison, but they were killing butterflies. So the butterflies I felt bad for, but this, one spider that fell and its legs were like that, like, ugh. Okay. And so when the photographer was trying to take a picture of it and it just jumps. But when it jumps at him towards the camera, it also hisses. Because believe it or not, spiders do hiss. Just like cats and snakes. So it's like, that is scary. Knowing that they can hiss. That's very, mm, unnerving. Hmm. But I think what scared me is, of course, the way they look. Everything about them is so terrifying and unsettling. But I think what also scared me was when, because you know how when the spider bit the guy when he was sleeping, and then from that one bite, it looked like he was having some kind of seizure, and then he died. And that is awful. That is terrible to die from a spider bite like that, especially from a big one. Ooh. Mm. Um, and I think what really scared me was that when they had put him in a in a coffin to bring him home, um, and so I think when they had uh, decided to end their expedition, and when they went home, but by the time they came home, the spider came along with them, and it crawled into that poor guy's coffin because there was a hole, and it crawled into it. But then by the time they came back home, um, that when you see his body was drained of blood. Now just to let you know, now when I say that, of course that is, you know, oh, that's so unsettling. But now the thing is, I do have a strong stomach, and I do now I can stand the sight of blood. That I can handle. Like, if I had to get a blood test done, I'm okay with that. Even if I see some blood in movies, I'm okay with that. So when it comes to seeing blood, I'm, like I said, I'm okay with that. I'm not like queasy, but what makes me queasy and unsettled is when it's knowing like if someone had been drained of their blood, and like whatever the reason may be, and if they look completely drained and look completely, almost like skeletal, with the skin still remaining on them, like, oh, that's no, that's horrible. So of course, seeing him where he's drained because of that, the spider did that, it's like, that is horrifying. Oh, it really is. So that's what really scared me, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what that thing did, like, poor guy. And because of that, and when this guy did have a funeral, they didn't have an open casket for him. They had to close it because the sight of him, it would just be, heartbreaking and very terrible, so no. So of course, with Jeff Daniels, because now this isn't the first time I've seen Jeff Daniels in a movie. Um, I have seen him in 101 Dalmatians, and so to see him in this movie where he plays Dr. Ross Jennings, and where he and his family just moved, and even seeing how his character has arachnophobia, I completely relate to his character on that. And so it's like, so yeah, I think you could say so. I don't want to go on for too long, but yes. So watching this movie quite young, I just remember feeling scared, from the beginning to here and there with some parts, and I just remember feeling through the whole movie, just feeling very unnerved and disturbed and very, very terrified and unsettled, and just like feeling like even feeling paranoid, because I remember I would just look around me. I would even look at my arms. I would look on the floor. I would turn around and see if anything's there, which it wouldn't. And so I just remember just feeling like that, kind of feeling like I have to almost like hug myself, like have my arms around me, like, okay, I don't want this, creepy, crawly feeling, almost like if something's there when it's not. uh, so, and yeah, like I said, that's how I felt. And like I said, I was 7 or 8 at the time. So yeah, I just remember feeling completely terrified, and yeah, so I think you say after I watched it the first time, quite young, I would say my thoughts on it were to me, I felt like, is this a scary movie? Because to me, it felt like that. To me, it felt like this spider, um, almost like a thriller, but also a bit of horror movie. So I just remember thinking, like, to me, it just almost kind of felt like watching, a horror movie in a way, because of my fear of them, and yeah, that's what I thought. But even though it's not really a horror movie, I do feel like some parts have a bit of horror elements, especially the ending. I would say the ending to me is like this, like, very intense, like, horror. And when I mean horror, I don't mean like gory or nothing like that, but almost like horror in a way of where it's just something that scares you, something that would just make you jump and scream. I mean, like that kind. And so yeah, it felt very horrifying to watch. And honestly, now of course there are some parts I like. Now when it comes to the parts of the actors themselves, I'm fine. When it comes to those spider scenes, I'm jumpy, I'm, leaning up against my bed, I'm like, trying to cover my eyes, I'm screaming. So it's like, no. kind of felt like I was losing my voice a little bit. I'm not sure if I was or if I did, but I felt my throat was kind of getting this weird tingle sensation, almost like, I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, so as a young child watching this movie, like I said, I was terrified. And I remember being jumpy and just screaming and just being so scared, you know? And I would say that, like, how it made me felt, well, obviously, it made me feel uh, paranoid, terrified, and so I knew from watching this that I have arachnophobia, and as to this day, it's, whew, I'm I'm still completely 1000% terrified, and honestly, I just want to say that I rather be afraid of something than not to be afraid of anything, because I do think it's good to be scared of things that are scary and something that does scare you. It's kind of like whatever you guys are afraid of, and whether if it does seem scary to some people or if it doesn't, but yet you have the right to be afraid, to have a certain fear of what scares you. So you have that right, and you have the right to feel whatever you feel, and like I said, if you have a fear of something, if you find it terrifying but somebody doesn't, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be afraid of it just because they're not afraid, because we're all afraid of something. And yes, I do know there are some people um who who don't get scared of spiders. They don't have that fear, which is fine. If they don't, like, there's some who probably don't find this scary, or those who love spiders, and for those who do, that's fine. I don't judge you, but even though I'm afraid of spiders, like, don't, and it's like anyone who doesn't find them scary or who loves spiders in general, please don't judge me if I'm like absolutely terrified of them, because that's just me. That's just a part of me. Something that scares, like something that truly terrifies me. So, and yeah, it does. And I think it still will until when I'm a very old lady. Even when I'm 100, I'm still gonna be screaming. But like I said, it's best to be afraid of something than not to be afraid of anything. So I'm just saying that's just how I feel about it. And one last thing about the movie is that how this movie, like how it left impression on me, is that it didn't really leave a really good impression on me, to be honest. It didn't. Like, honestly, the ending, where Jeff Daniels is in the wine cellar and he's taking out two of them, like the general and the queen, like, okay, first of all, that's very, even though he's terrified, which I feel how he feels it within that scene when he's trying to take out both of them. But even though he's terrified, he's so brave enough to do it. It's like, okay, good for you. But it's like, it's this very intense, horrifying scene, and honestly, I would say that intense scene where he takes them out, I think that probably traumatized me, only because you do see close-ups of you know of that, especially close-ups of when it's crawling on his leg. Ooh. And even close-ups of its eyes. Ugh. No, okay, I'm sorry. Even when I just mention it, I'm getting all so, unnerved. Okay. So honestly, I would say it's the ending. That very intense, terrifying ending where he's in the wine cellar, taking him out and seeing close-ups of that. Like, that just traumatized me of them, completely. And because of that, I would say that's the only impression it probably left on me, like on the movie, is that it terrified me. And it just made me think like, oh, okay, this, should I really be watching this? And to me, it almost felt like like a rated R movie. I don't know why I said R without saying rated R. That's just so weird. So yeah, like I said, it did not leave a good impression on me, and it's just, I think in a way, yeah, it just made me realize, and I knew from watching it, I have this fear, and that when it came to the ending, it was like it traumatized me. So that's the only thing that it did. And I remember after watching it, I did not want to watch it again, but then years went by, and then when I was a teenager, somehow I think I was so terrified that my mind must have blocked certain parts. But then honestly, I would say when I got older, so when I have watched it here and there, even when I had watched it a couple of times in my 20s, like, I still felt the same way, completely terrified and just jumping and paranoid and screaming, and probably screaming much more and louder towards the ending. Because to me, the ending is just not only terrifying, but traumatizing. So, I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, that was my first time watching it, and the other times that I did watch it, and it's actually free to watch on Tubi, and even though it's October, I am not very positive I should watch it just because it's October of the spooky Halloween month. I mean, if I watch other scary movies, that's fine, but when it comes to that movie or any other spider movies, no, I am not very positive. I don't think I should. No. So, nope, I do not want to do that kind of torture and be scared out of my mind, because I may not be able to sleep. So, no thank you. So, yeah, that is all for this. And like I said, this is me sharing the first time I watched it and the other times I watched it and how I felt about it and the kind of impression it left on me. So now you know. Okay, I don't be feeling no right now. So okay, so either way, I do hope you guys enjoy this video, and to see more like this, please subscribe, like the video, and you'll be seeing more movie content and dreams and these kinds of videos as well. So that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.